Welcome back to Griff Abroad. My name is Griff, and my wife and I retired early, and now we set up a shop or a home in Bangkok, Thailand, but we continue to travel as a part of our retirement. And today I'm here in Tokyo, and today's topic of conversation is about FIRE, financial independence, retire early. And I haven't seen much about FIRE in social media or anywhere for that matter in quite a while. So I guess the question is the FIRE movement dead? You guys have to let me know. I haven't really paid much attention to FIRE, but at the same time, financial independence is one of those things I really enjoy talking about, as well as want to encourage people to consider as a part of their life in terms of preparing for retirement and becoming financially independent. But yeah, I was just kind of watching, social media and kind of discussions that have been going on about the FIRE movement, and it's not really relevant anymore. And I was wondering, is it like a fad or something that just kind of came up in the last 10 years and now it's kind of fizzled out? I don't know. Has anybody saw that or noticed that kind of that momentum of the FIRE movement kind of disappear? I think it maybe has. Yeah, and the FIRE movement is really tough. And I'm sure a lot of people had a hard time, doing the FIRE movement. They even created different parts of the FIRE movement, like barista FIRE or coast FIRE or some other kind of FIRE. They had like a lot of different kinds of FIRE, trying to change that to suit different people's lifestyle. Oh, you know what? If you're new to the channel and new to FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early, that is a movement that was started a while back where people would save a lot of money, and they went by the 4% rule. And what I mean by the 4% rule is, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want a standard of living in retirement, let's say with $40,000 to live off of. You take that $40,000 and you multiply that by 25, that gives you $1 million. And that's what you want to have saved before you retire. And that way you can live off 4% for the rest of your life. That was the thought process behind FIRE. So a lot of people were saving up a lot of money and investing and getting out of debt and reaching for that number, whatever number that is. Because if you want to live off 60,000, of course you have to multiply that by 25, and you get a different number, and that's what you want to goal to save up to you can retire early. And then you can live off of 4%. But, that is a really difficult process. And being that aggressive with retirement, that's tough. And so I think a lot of people had a hard time struggling with that, and that may be the reason why the FIRE movement kind of fizzled out. Because anything that's really tough, only a certain number of people, I think, have the capabilities to continue that process. But even if the FIRE movement did fizzle out or kind of gone away, I still think FIRE movement was a good thing. It really introduced the younger generation, I think, into understanding how to save, how to invest, and how to prepare for retirement. Even if it was for, quick retirement. Because I think one thing that I think the U.S. country failed was talking about finance, educating the younger generation about being able to prepare for retirement, also just managing their money. I mean, I had this conversation, a long time ago with my high school business teacher, and we had this conversation about Social Security. I mean, I'm talking about, this is when I was back in 18 years old, 17 years old. And that conversation was, even back then, how Social Security was not sustainable and it wouldn't last. So I got that in my head, and I went to college for finance to start learning about investing and learning about how investments work, learning about compound interest, learning about those things that helps me to realize that I'm going to prepare for my own retirement. I'm not going to rely on anybody else. So that's what I did. And I think now that conversation is a little bit more prevalent, because I've heard in the social media that a lot of the young generation is kind of blaming the older generation, whether it be the baby boomers or Gen X. They're blaming us because they don't know enough about finance or managing money. And of course, you've seen a lot of that regards to the younger generation with the student loans. So I can completely understand where they're coming from of not understanding money and finance, because guess what? I have a lot of friends and family that still don't understand money and management and investing and whatnot. And that's just not a common topic that people talk about. Also in the US, people don't talk about money and finance that often. So, but I think that conversation definitely needs to be had. And I think the FIRE movement did help with that conversation. And I think the conversation still needs to be had right now, even more than ever, because we hear about how, people are driving up debt. Also, people are in student loan debt, and how much credit card debt is in the US. And guys, no one's going to have enough money to retire. Imagine you get into the age even of 60 and you have no savings and no investments. I would hate to imagine that to happen, because then you'd be like, and I don't want to put the people down that has to work at Walmart, but you'll be one of those individuals greeting people in Walmart coming in and working at the age of 70. And I feel really bad for that, because that shouldn't be the way that you live your life in the later years of your life, I don't think. So if the FIRE movement is dead, you know what? I think hopefully something else comes up that will introduce or kind of put a light under fire underneath your butt to get to a point where you have to consider that you are going to need to think about your investments. You need to think about your retirement, and then you have to make an effort yourself to prepare for that. And as a part of this channel, I kind of, go through the process of kind of scouring the social media and kind of seeing what's going on and what the kind of hot topics are. And when I realized that no one's talking about FIRE, I was thinking, okay, what's taking over that spot? What's taking over the conversation piece for financial independence, or for you guys to prepare for retirement? It doesn't have to be early retirement, but just prepare for retirement. Because if you're not preparing, I hate to see what happens, 10, 20, 30 years down the road. But anyways, I thought that was an interesting topic to talk about. I'm here in Japan and having a wonderful time here, and a wonderful day here talking to you guys about retiring early. And if you enjoyed this kind of conversation, make sure to smash the like button. And as always, guys, appreciate your support. Well, have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll see you back in the next episode. Bye-bye.